I am Maria CLARET Bernales, and I am your teacher for today. Our lesson for today is all about the classification of kitchen tools and equipment. So before we proceed to the actual demonstration, we will be first identifying the learning objectives. So there are 3 learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, or the learning period, you are expected to do the following. So first, we have to identify the kitchen tools and equipment. The second one is classify kitchen tools and equipment based on their uses. And lastly, create a video presentation demonstrating the classification of kitchen tools and equipment. So before we proceed to the classification of kitchen tools and equipment, we will be first identifying what is a kitchen tool and what is a kitchen equipment. So a kitchen tool is, or a kitchen utensil, is a small handheld tool used for food preparation, or in other term, a handheld device. Then the second one, it has a common task. So kitchen tools has general purpose. So it has a multi-purpose. The common task including the cutting food items to size, heating food on an open fire or on a stove, then for baking, for mixing, for grinding, for blending, and for measuring. Then a kitchen tool also is non-mechanical. So it means a work is done without the use of electricity. So the work is done, the job is done with the use. So here are the example of a kitchen tool. So the picture showed in the PowerPoint is or are the kitchen tool that we commonly see at our kitchen. Then what is a kitchen equipment? So kitchen equipment, it refers to the larger items in the kitchen that handle bulk of the prep and cooking processes. So the kitchen equipment are also known as the expensive ones. So the kitchen equipment, it consists of the things which are designed for a particular purpose. So unlike the kitchen tools are used for a general purpose, while the kitchen equipment used for special or for particular or specific tasks. So a kitchen equipment is a place fixed. So it means that it cannot be replaced, or it cannot be replaced to where the equipment has been placed. Then the kitchen equipment helps to enhance the production of goods. So the kitchen equipment helps to enhance the texture, the taste, the color, and the quality of goods or products. Then it is the kitchen equipment are mechanical. So it means that a job or that particular equipment are done with the use of electricity or with the help of electricity. So now any cook must familiarize the various kitchen tools and equipment. So to make your kitchen more efficient, more enjoyable, and more easy to do the task, you have to make sure that you have the essential utensils and equipment to be used in performing a particular task. So now let us move on to the classification of tools. So the classification of tools divided into 5 categories. So first we have the preparatory tools. The second one is the cutting tools. We have the measuring tools. The fourth one is the mixing tools, and lastly the serving tools. So now we will be first tackle what is the preparatory tools. So preparatory tools is designed for food preparations. It is done, or it is performed before cooking or before baking. So from the word itself, prepare. Then here are the example of a preparatory tools. So we have the knife, we have the tablespoons, the measuring cup, we have the bowls, we have the strainer, we have the can opener, and we have the blender. Now let us move on to the second one, the cutting tools. So cutting tools is a wedge-shaped and sharp-edged device tools that is used to remove excess layer of material from the workplace in order to obtain desired shape, size, and accuracy. So it is cutting action, shearing ingredients to achieve the desired shapes or size. So from the word itself, cutting tools used to cut any ingredients, raw or cooked ingredients. So here are the example of the cutting tools. So we have the chef's knife, we have the kitchen shears. So kitchen shears is like a scissors. Then we have the vegetable peeler, the cutting board, we have the paring knife, we have also the boning knife. So the third one is the measuring tool. So the measuring tools is a device to measure a physical quantity such as weight, length, time, or temperature. So the measuring tools are used for measuring or counting a quantity of quantity data of an ingredients or materials in preparing and performing cooking or baking. So measuring tools also used to measure dry and liquid ingredients. So it means that the measuring tools can either use dry and for the purpose also of liquid ingredients. So it helps to determine the specific amount of an ingredient required for the particular task. So it is very important to have measuring tools because measuring tools helps a cook or an ordinary person to achieve the desired outcome of performing of tasks. So here are the example of the measuring tools. We have the dry measuring cups, we have the measuring spoon, we have the liquid measuring cup, and we have the kitchen scales. Now the fourth one, we have the mixing tools. So mixing tools are manual, electric, or motor materials that help mix wet or dry mixtures such as butter or dough. So it is used for stirring, whisking, blending, and beating ingredients. Mixing tools also be containers or tubs where it allows for thorough mixing of dry ingredients as well as wet ingredients. So here are the example of the mixing tools. So we have the mixing bowls, we have the pots and pans, we have the baking sheets, the electronics devices such as blender, mixer, and we have the spoon, we have the whisk, and we have the spatula. Then lastly, we have the last classification of kitchen tools. We have the serving tools. So serving tools is known as cutlery or silverware or flatware. So it comprises of any handheld implement for eating or serving food. So the serving tools, tools used after cooking and after finishing the product. Then serving tools are used to cut, scoop, grasp, spread, strain, and transferring food to bowls, trays, or platter. So here are the examples of serving tools. We have the spork, we have the soup ladle, we have the turner, whisk, we have the spoon, curved spatula, we have the slatted spoon, potato masher, skimmer, and so much more. Then, now, since we are done with the kitchen tools, we will be moving on to the kitchen equipment. The classification of kitchen equipment, we have three categories. So first, we have the baking equipment, we have the auxiliary equipment, and lastly, we have the food storage equipment. So first, we will be first identifying what is the baking equipment. So these are the equipment that makes our baking process easier and successfully done. So from the word itself, baking equipment, for the purpose of baking. So here are the example of the baking equipment. So we have the rolling pin, we have the muffin pan, we have the dredger, the pastry blender, and the cookie cutters, and so much more. Now the second one is the auxiliary equipment. So auxiliary equipment is known as the secondary equipment. It is because they're usually used for specific process. These are the necessary but not commonly in use. So maybe because these equipment are too expensive, or maybe there are alternative ways in performing specific tasks. So here are the example of the auxiliary equipment. So we have here the oven, we have here the mixer, we have the blender, and we have the toaster, and we have the stove, and so much more other auxiliary equipment. So the last classification of kitchen equipment, we have the food storage equipment. So any equipment used for holding or buffering materials over a period of time, typically they help preserve valuable work floor space. So it helps our food longer and reduce the risk of contamination that will cause illnesses or diseases or any health factors that affects our physical, social, emotional, and the whole well-being. So the food storage equipment is very necessary, especially in food preservation. So it is a big help in preserving raw ingredients or even cooked ingredients for it to keep away from any contamination, or the purpose of maintaining the quality of an ingredients and the nutrients we get from it. So here the example of the food storage equipment. We have the refrigerator, the different kinds of refrigerator, and we have the display, we have the water dispenser, and other food storage equipment. So now, since we are done, I will show you a video presentation for you to better understand what is classification of kitchen tools and equipment and their uses. So it will also a big help for our activity to make. So I hope you will listen and focus on the screen for you to learn. I think we are ready for our activity. So I want you to get one whole sheet of paper and answer the following. So identify the following tools and write A for preparation tool, B for measuring tool, C for cutting tool, D for mixing tool, and E for serving tool. So there are 5 items. So the next one also classify equipment according to their uses and write A for baking equipment, B for auxiliary equipment, and C for food storage equipment. So you have 20 minutes to answer. So let's start. So now, since you're done, pass your paper on the front. Pass your paper on the front. Since we're done with the activity, you have to, we will be proceeding to the performance task. So you have to create a video presentation or vlog classifying the kitchen tools and equipment at your home. So the video must be minimum of 5 minutes and maximum of 10. So are we clear? Yes. So submit it via Gmail or Messenger. So now for your assignment, create an infographic about the classification of kitchen tools and equipment to be submitted next meetings. If you're done, you can submit it on my Messenger or my Gmail account. So I hope you learn a lot today, and keep safe, and thank you.